Hi, I'm Debra Baldwin, author of 3 books about succulents, and I am at the Cactus and Succulent Society of America convention. So cool to meet all of these experts from all over the world, growers and speakers and people who focus on some really narrow genus and species you've never heard of and you don't think you care about, and then you hear them speak and it's like, wow, who knew? You're going to meet some very cool people who have come here just for this, who have great things to say about the best succulent for beginners. Where to start? What would your recommendation be for the perfect beginner's collectible succulent?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, there's so many choices, but if anything, I would say it has to be safe, has to be hardy, has to be versatile, has to be non-poisonous, non-spiny. Haworthia, absolutely Haworthia. Yeah, compact, easy to grow. Haworthias are actually collectible. There's lots of different colors and shapes, textures. They're not too expensive to start off with, unless you're collecting rare ones. Rare ones can get expensive, but generally you can fill a windowsill, you can fill a veranda, a porch, a conservatory with Haworthias, just Haworthias. And there's lots of different kinds, and they do flower, but it's not so much the flowers, but the decorative rosette, the shape of the leaves. They're intrinsically, they're decorative. They're very decorative and collectible, like jewelry. So after Haworthias, it'd be Gasterias. Gasterias can be grown under a bench. They can grow on a bench, under a bench, inside, outside. Gasterias are second in line. A little bit more demanding, but just as versatile. Good indoors too. Haworthias and Gasterias can grow indoors easily and flower indoors. They're the two, yeah. Haworthia number 1, Gasteria number 2.
I could narrow it down to like a few genera of succulents. Mammillaria, for sure. Cactus, Turbinacarpus, and Copiapoa. Mammillaria specifically because the geometry and forms of them, they're really beautiful. They're also super easy to grow. For somebody that might be like a little bit afraid of mammillarias, they're like, oh, they're spiky. There's actually plenty of them that have what's called pectinate spines, like feathers covering the body as opposed to like knives sticking out. So one I would suggest, and it's because I'm typically very infatuated with it because I just saw it in Querétaro, in Mexico, in Habitat. It's Mammillaria scheidiana. They're soft and they're beautiful, but they are like actually super tough, kind of like badass plants. So yeah.
Fook, Quinn.
And you're on the CSSA board?
I'm one of the directors, yes.
Where do you live?
I live in Redlands, California. Definitely recommend aloes as a generic for anybody, simply because it's easy to grow, relatively speaking. It's fast growing. Most common is aloe vera.
Do you want to blow the misconception that all aloes are aloe vera?
Oh gosh, yeah. Everybody say, oh, I've got an aloe vera, and they show me the picture. Definitely not aloe vera. Wait till it flowers. If it's not yellow, it's not.
Yeah, that's right,
Okay.
because it's one of the few that's yellow,
Right.
at least in cultivation.
Correct, there.
For an in-ground aloe then, do you have a favorite?
Yes, I love tree aloes there. Well, it's actually called allodendron now, so it's not really tree aloes. Okay, so there's the 6 allodendron, and I have 4 of those 6 there. The Bainesii, the Pilanzii, the Ramosissima.
Probably wouldn't call them beginner plants.
No, definitely not. So you can get all these hybrids from Altman's there. Any of those would be good on pot size, multiple pots, just like many of the ones that you recommend on your show. So definitely those are the smaller ones that are eye-catching.
So my name is Rita Lansford, and I'm helping the CSSA and the San Diego Cactus Club to have a great sale. We have 23 amazing vendors. I sell online. So I do have a plant for you. It gets sold a lot, and many of the people buying it are beginners. It's a spiral cactus. I don't have one to show you here today because I'm sold out.
These are not spiral cactus?
No, this is the Elychnia castanea spiralis. This one is more tricky to grow. The spiral cactus, the Latin name is Cereus forbesi spiralis. It's not prone to disease, it's beautiful, it has unique spiral to it, and I feel that's the one to go. I'm growing them indoors, I'm growing them in the soil outside, and then in the pot outside. Do you have one?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because I was going to offer you one.
Oh, no I don't.
Okay, too late.
Cindy and Richard Schreiber from Des Moines, Iowa.
I'm the president of the Mid-Iowa Cactus and Succulent Society. This woman is my treasurer.
Okay, and your treasure.
I think one of the best things that you can get is a jade. Your mother probably had one. You can bonsai them. Mostly they're white. Sometimes they're pink. To get them to bloom, take them outside so they're happy all spring and summer. When you bring them in, like say September, and you know it's going to freeze, you're going to have little buds that you're going to be able to see. The shorter nights and longer days, what causes them to start to bloom.
Kyle Williams is a PhD botanist and succulent grower from Thousand Oaks, California.
Grow a little bit of everything, different cacti and succulents, often ones that you haven't seen here yet in the US or are much more uncommon. I go to Thailand pretty regularly and have for quite a long time, but I thought I'd recommend one for all the folks who grow indoors and want to grow in a windowsill. Euphorbia francoisii from Madagascar. This is a very small selection. In Thailand, there's a breeder like Kelly Griffin who has been breeding them for 15, 20 years. Really amazing hybrids. What I love about it is no two are the same. They're all individual seed-grown plants. You can grow them outdoors, but they're amazing house plants. They only need low to medium light, warm, even temperatures. You don't want to keep them soaking wet, but don't let them go dry. These are just little ones here, but as they get bigger, you get a beautiful caudex with gorgeous leaves. Euphorbia francoisii.
Well, Kyle, thank you so much. This has been a real revelation for me. I've learned things that I didn't realize I was going to come here and learn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Al Klein of Botanic Wonders loves to educate people about plants.
Euphorbia is my favorite genus. I don't know if there is a genus that has more diversity of shapes and sizes and colors and different types of plants. And I started collecting, I was attracted to them immediately because they were so different. And this is our best seller of all the Euphorbias, Euphorbia obesa, and is also called, referred to as the baseball plant.
Any tips on not killing one's obesa?
Yeah. 30% shade is fine. You want a really well-drained soil. 80% pumice, 20% peat moss.
I had an early tragedy with an obesa. The rain came and it collapsed.
Yes. I think one of the main things that people will do the mistake is they tend to overpot things. Now, I'm not saying that that's what happened with your plant. So keep them in a small pot. Let them kind of get pot bound. That's okay. Like I have obesas that are literally almost all the way to the edge of the pot. They have grown like a big ball, and the amount of water that they get is just a little bit on the edges when you water. And so let's say you do leave it outside and we get a lot of rain, it's not going to get too much. Some plants you can overpot, but most succulents are better underpotted. By next year, that will probably be almost to the edge. With good care, a little bit of fertilizer, fish emulsion, Miracle Grow, any of those kind of water-soluble fertilizers. Do that about once a month, and it will grow. It's pretty amazing.
Perfect.
Yep.
So Tina, how many years have you been growing succulents?
Growing since I moved here in 1978, 46 years, because I loved propagating.
Of all the plants that you have successfully propagated, grown, and sold, and all the people that you've met and talked to over the decades, what would your recommendation be for the perfect beginner's collectible succulent?
People are going to tell you aeoniums and echeverias because those are easy and simple, but what excited me about growing was caudiciforms. They form caudexes.
Yeah.
And the caudex is what makes them a caudiciform.
Okay.
Anything with a bulb, anything that got fat, anything that stored water and had flowers and beautiful trunks and leaves. Those are my favorites. Well, they're addicting. You start growing them and then you find there are so many different varieties of caudiciforms. I have an oncorina, which is 10 feet wide and 8 feet tall, beautiful yellow flowers.
We're in San Diego where we can grow almost anything in the ground, but for a national or international audience, caudiciforms would primarily be collectible in pots. I will show some.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Poon. I'm coming from Believe and Grow. I'm from Thailand. I've been in the business for 5 years. Recommend for the beginner. The number one that I think that is really easy to take care is the Sansevieria. They have so many different kinds. Some people like variegated that have like yellow variegated. Some people like green or like. So if you're looking for Sansevieria that have like a silver pale light color, moonshine is really beautiful plant. The moonshine is my favorite. Right now I do live sale weekly on Palm Street. Check on my website or my Instagram, Believe and Grow. So you will see all my cactus succulent. I also import it from Thailand. Like if you're looking, I can find for you. Like I know like all local nursery around San Diego area. I have a lot of connection. Even the rare plant from like China, from Italy also. So anything you can just let me know.
Ralph Moran with the San Diego Zoo, wearing a Fairview cap, given to him, I suspect, by Josh Allen of Fairview Nursery.
Well, I like succulents because I feel like they're the easiest to take care of, most of them. And sometimes they could lose a limb and they will fall somewhere and it's like, this is my life now, they become a whole new plant. The easiest is San Pedro, and we have them at the front of the zoo. They're very easy to cut, propagate from cuttings, and neglect and water whenever, and then they'll give you nice tall columnar cactus.
We can see them at the San Diego Zoo, and we can also get them for, a nominal amount.
Sometimes even free, because people give them away.
And they'll start from cuttings.
Chop, callus, plant.
Thank you, Ralph. We look forward to seeing them at the zoo, and maybe seeing you there too.
Agave has been my first love, and it's still my number one. So many varieties. Compare this one and this one. They're totally different, and you might think they're completely unrelated plants. Great landscape plants, some get very big, but they also make great potted specimens. Like this one, this Agave alpopylosa, for example, an adult might be a foot across, but it takes a long time to get to that size. Whatever you want, shades of green, blue, there's just a huge variety out there, a couple hundred species. My favorite agave species would probably be the Queen Victoria agave, Victoria reginae, because it has beautiful markings. Each one is subtly different. And these are eminently collectible. You can have these in a pot for like 30 years before they flower. They're very, very long-lived. They're very beautiful, a foot across maybe. Go to succulentsandmore.com and you see my posts about my garden, other gardens I visit, botanical gardens, nurseries. Not just agaves, succulents either. I like Australian shrubs. I like perennials. I like a lot of plants.
My favorite is Aerocarpus. But so many collectors come to me and ask, what if they don't have much experience and they love to grow cactus or succulent, and which plant they should start with? And this is always my first choice is Horticulturist. Winter grower, but if you care them properly, they can grow year-round. There are so many different varieties, all different patterns. Wonderful growers in the country and also in other countries that specialize in Horticulturist. So if you want something to start with, Horticulturist. I use 70% pumice in my soil. So under shade, this plant really shows the best condition. Very juicy, very fresh, and very pumped up and looking very good.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jack. Find links and additional information in the video description and on the corresponding page of my site. Please let me know if you found this video helpful, and do ask questions if you like. My goal is to inspire you to enjoy using succulents in fun and creative ways in your own garden and outdoor living spaces. Do subscribe to my channel, enjoy my past videos, and visit my ad-free site for extensive illustrated info on every aspect of succulents. I'm Debra Baldwin. Thank you for joining me.